Hello and welcome back, esports fans. PennHalo, Gamers Heaven is the place. 275 Schuylkill Road out here in Phoenixville. Not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is the name of the state, not Philadelphia. FBI Tugboat joined, as always, my man Striker here. And we got Team Impossible taking on Shady Kids Shading Kids. Quite a name, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the more creative names that we've had here so far.
For sure, 100%. So we are looking at the losers round 2. Maps-wise, looking at Countdown, then Pit. If we get down to that game 3, we're looking at Zealot.
Yep, and I mean, we've only seen a few Countdown games so far. We see Pit a handful of times. I think we've only had Zealot on stream once.
Countdown I think we've only had once as well, and that was a...
I think we've had Countdown twice. We had Countdown in Spartan series with King Nick, and then in this last series we just had a game of Countdown. But I think Zealot we've had once, so be interesting to see that if it does end up getting to game 3. I think that this will be a pretty closely contested series because this is Impossible is our #1 overall seed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have Employee and Phenom who have both placed extremely high at our event so far. I believe Employee placed runner-up in our Summer Slayer, and then Phenom placed runner-up in the Autumn Assault.
Okay.
And so they're a very strong team. This is their first time playing together, but you still expect a strong result from them. And then on blue side, on Shady Kids Shading Kids, we have Zvir and Blitzkrieg, who I believe were a team in our last event. They are our 8th seed, correct?
Yeah, the tied for 8th, and they have worked together before, is that correct?
Right, they did play together before, and they're both 2 talented players as well. They placed well, and so I expect this series to be pretty close, and hopefully it does go to that game 3.
Exactly. We would love to see it. We've only seen one. That was actually the very first match, right, going to game 3? Yeah. So we'd love to see it and can only anticipate some very close Halo action here, especially given what I'm going to be looking at here is the difference between a team that is individually gifted, like just simply very good at the game, talking about Impossible, the first seed coming through, but who have not played together before. Now, Shady Kids, Shading Kids have played together before, and in these duos and the twos, that's just so important. The coordination between your only teammate, your only other resource outside of power weapons and things like this, and time, lives, your main resource, right? That one teammate. How important is that going to be coming into a matchup between, again, 2 players very, very gifted at the game versus 2 players who have worked together before? Now, communication can always be a problem, right? I think anybody who's tried to run ranked online, especially late at night, East Coast Special, knows exactly what that's like, right?
Yeah, and I mean, all these players that are playing in this series right now, they're all high-level players, so they know how to communicate, and it'll be a little bit easier, I think, for players like Employee and Phenom to, mesh together despite not maybe having played together as much, just because they have played at a high level and they've both placed well and in fours at different LAN events.
Yeah, the quads, yeah.
As well as the 2v2s here. And so, I expect them to, maybe they're at a little bit of a disadvantage in not having played together before at one of these tournaments. But I don't expect that to be too much of a detriment.
Okay. So you're saying that the individual skill, especially with twos and not having the other 2 teammates to rely on in fours, is really going to be the main decider here, the big deciding factor.
Right, and I think we're going to find out pretty early on in the series, whether these guys are going to be able to play well together or not.
Gotcha. We're going to find out right now. Team Impossible taking on Shady Kids Shading Kids. Team Impossible, again, made up of Employee and Phenom. Shady Kids Shading Kids made up of Zver and Blitzkrieg. Saw Blitzkrieg getting a little bit of love in Twitch chat earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got some fans out here.
We got a fan favorite here.
Gotcha. And of course, this is all the way out even. Neither of these teams have scored a point quite yet. As we come into the countdown, yeah, you're right. We did see two of the games here, and I always love how this this initial showdown goes. It's really just a test of individual gun skill, right? How many headshots can you hit off the rip? It looks like we got our guy Employee striking first, taking rockets for it.
Little 1v1 trade to start. Beautiful rocket, beautiful prediction by Employee there to pick up that second kill.
Simple geometry, that's what my boy Hanzo would say.
And looks like his teammate Phenom is actually going to be able to pick up that snipe, which we actually saw at the Summer Slayer and the Autumn Assault, that Phenom is a very capable sniper, so it's going to be a dangerous situation here for Shady Kids.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that I can anticipate Employee probably holding on to the Rockets, but when it comes to that big sniper and the skill-based shots that come along with that, mostly Phenom is going to be working that magic.
Yeah, I think that they're both capable of using it effectively. I just think that when they have the opportunity to decide which player is going to be using the sniper, I think you're going to see Phenom using it more often than not.
And something I've seen already is a bunch of these Hail Mary grenades, right? These already been useful in, I would say, most of these 5 kills so far between these two teams. Impossible up 4-1 right now. And similar to a matchup we just saw recently, it seems like these guys are willing to take a little bit slower, right?
Yeah, just trying to feel each other out and see exactly, where these teams are. They definitely weren't sure there for a bit, and that's what some of those grenades were, just trying to deal a little damage and predict, and maybe start a push. But now both teams are definitely aware of, where the other team may be pushing from. That's a beautiful bait and switch right there.
Little flank action attempted, just like that. Another 2 on top for the side of Impossible, turning a tough, maybe impossible situation into an advantage.
Yeah, I think that was a really good pickup by Phenom there to get that kill. He was getting chased and managed to turn that around.
So Phenom getting really aggressive there, especially as soon as he picks up Sniper. I can dig it. I'm all one for clips and montages and whatnot. Coming down, hitting the no-scope heady onto one, and then allowing teammate to take the second would have been amazing. Now that why Blitzkrieg is picking this up here for Shady Kids, as now they're only 1 point away from the tie.
Yeah, and I think that that's huge that Shady Kids was able to take that sniper rifle back from the team that picked it up originally, take it from Phenom. And Blitzkrieg picked up 2
my goodness.
very quick, impressive headshots to tie this game up.
Quick is a good way to say that one. that was beautiful, just literally threading the needle across the bottom of this floor, right in onto a hitbox where again, what half of it is covered, but it's by walking up. Now, granted, you're going to be looking for that head 9 times out of 10. Blitzkrieg is going to find it. Most of those times as well.
Yeah, aren't we all? And you'll see that
both
Shady
have snipers now, right? Yeah.
Shady Kids is pulling off that same strategy that we were seeing earlier of both teams trying to control both streets and have height advantage. But looks like Employee was able to pick up those rockets uncontested and break that setup.
Yeah, just like that, Impossible now taking 2. Like you said, a fantastic play to really break what could have been very, very just dominant setup, right? Looking at up top, VR in one hand, sniper rifle in the other. Did exactly what they needed to. Picked up rocks, made the most out of it. Got a flank action going in as well. I think utilized a rocket, but might have even got it done with shots in melee. Just like that, another flank. Look at this.
That was a fantastic bait and switch by Employee there to pick up both of those kills with the rockets, and Sniper will be up in about 10 seconds. And so you're going to probably look and see both teams posturing for that, but Impossible definitely has a better positional advantage here, so I would expect them to be picking that up right now.
Talk about Employee saving Phenom there. It looked like Phenom may have been losing that one-on-one, but call that a sniper rifle ball at the great equalizer. 14-7 now. This is Impossible up, doubling up the score total so far for Shady Kids, looking to continue on their performance, just maintaining the snipers right across here, waiting for kids to come by, looking for those heads as they do.
Yeah, I would expect this game to potentially slow down a little bit for the next couple minutes. At least I would expect Shady Kids to maybe try and slow this down and wait for both rockets and sniper to come up at the 9-10 mark.
Active being selected by Employee, looking around. There's first shot. Is shieldless. Took me a second to think of that word. It actually is going to lose teammate in the back there, so Employee continuing on with, he's close to a kill streak, isn't he?
He might be close to a spree at this point. He's definitely picked up a lot of kills so far.
Ooh, that's 2 of them. There's Vera over there with the tactical crouch, right? And then making the most of it right there. So came forth, you pushed your advantage, or at least what you thought it was. Turned out not to be an advantage whatsoever. And just like that, an 8-score lead tuned to 6.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of the caster's curse there, where we talked about him potentially going on a killing spree and just immediately falls. But they still have a 7-kill advantage moving into the later stages of this game, with both power weapons, about to come up in about 10-15 seconds, or sorry, 20 seconds. And so we're going to look for, what weapons these teams are going to prioritize.
it seems that yeah, I feel like almost every kill is resulting in the switch and possession of this sniper rifle. Of course, there's 2 of them on this map, right?
There's just the one that spawns on S2, and then
That's
the
what it
rockets
was.
spawn directly across. But it has been good to see both of these teams. Like the sniper has traded hands several times.
Peekaboo! Zver getting taken down there after a, we'll say, a slower flank.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the sniper at least trade hands,
Oof.
but Impossible has definitely made better use of the rockets so far and have more control of them.
Okay, so I'll say employee there, maybe a tiny bit of a misplay, but when you're up by 8 points, it's reasonable just to try and push that again, because we've said it before, we'll say it again, a trade at that point is always to the advantage of the team that is already up. Now, we're looking at an Impossible team that only needs 3 more. They could trade both players for 1 all the way through next engagements and still come out with a W.
Yeah, at this point, they can pretty much just hold forward and put
You
continuous.
saw the dead body laying up against the, looks like it was breakdancing up against the wall right there. But pummels for pummels, pound for pound. We're looking at a possible team here. 1 more score, and they'll have 10-point clubbed. Shady Kids. Just like that. Ends all the way out. No active camo for you, my friend. 25-14. This team Impossible striking hard and striking first.
And that's a pretty comprehensive win there, I think. But I don't think that this series is necessarily going to, follow that game. Like, it's going to be the same the whole time.
You're so far away from me, man.
Sorry?
You're so far away from me, dude.
Sorry.
There
Yeah,
you
a
go.
little bit closer to
There's
you.
a
We are on
casting
this.
couch.
We are on this special couch here. Some people may be
Yeah,
familiar.
that's not a normal tear. we're just playing around. I know you guys love my my PennHalo sign here. I spent hours on a plane making it on the way up here, even shading in so it can be seen a little bit better on the stream. But man, we've said it before. We say it. Well, I'll say it again here, right? Power weapons. Rocket sniper rifle. That's what led to Impossible's win. They could have done it with just BRs. I'm not saying it like that by any means. That the skill for the BR was not there, but they know how to play the game. They've done it before. They do it again, and just like many other teams today, they've come through and controlled power weapons and taken advantage of it. Now looking into game 2, I said it before, I say it again. Shady Kids, back against the wall. There's the last chance, man. We're in losers bracket too, as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Shady Kids, they get shaded out themselves. Shading Kids will be going on home.
Yeah, their backs are up against the wall, and this is it's do or die now. So they need to perform.
I thought my saying was dramatic enough. Okay.
I said we're on pit now.
Yeah.
And so you have both snipers. You got the rockets. You have the overshield. Sort of a non-factor, but it is there.
It is.
And I think that both teams are going to be capable of winning this game, but I think. If either of these teams is able to get control of, let's say, 2 snipers or sniper rockets, any sort of combination, that they're going to look to put pressure on the other team. And if they manage to, get some sort of spawn trap going, then this game could get out of hand quickly for either team. Because I think that either team could pull off some sort of spawn trap and go on a big run. But all these players, they know how to handle situations, whether they are winning or losing. And so... I expect it to be close. I don't think that either team is going to run away with this. I think that at some point it's probably going to slow down, especially because for Shady Kids, this is their tournament life on the line, and so they're not going to be pulling off a bunch of, risky pushes.
Yeah,
they're going to try and play, controlled aggression, smart Halo here.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to see a game 3, but if game 1 was indicative of who can get control of power weapons and maintain it, then that might be Team Impossible. We'll see.